welcome back to another episode of Buffalo Happy Hour. My name is Derek, and today we are here with the boys from BriarBrothers Brewing and Buffalo
Deep Dish.
Crushed it. So we are in BriarBrothers Brewing area right now with this podcast. You're just opening up in the area. So you want to talk a little bit about what got you to this area? What made you start doing pizzas in the first place?
What made me start doing pizzas was I was into doing deep dish pizzas. Well, I was into eating them because
Hell yeah.
Honestly, there was like this DiGiorno pizza that it was like a frozen one. It was deep dish, and when I was like, probably 10 years old, I used to eat the whole thing. So like reminiscing like of that, I started making them at home and eating the whole thing of that, and I started posting on Instagram with the pizza. I was like, oh, well, I'll make some pizzas, start posting, and see what happens because of it. Because I always thought it would be cool to sell pizzas in Buffalo, like a deep dish pizza especially. So I started doing that, from my house. People started seeing it on Instagram. People started messaging me for the pizzas. And then we started doing the Detroit style as well. And that kind of just took over, and everybody wanted that. Just like when we're going to be open here, that's going to be the thing that we sell the most is the Detroit style.
The Detroit?
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. So being in BriarBrothers, I guess, what does that do for you guys? Because if people have been to this brewery before, they know that there's no food options outside of kind of what's around. So I guess from your perspective, what does that do for the brewery?
I mean, I think it's a great opportunity to be able to provide a stable food option for the people that come in for BriarBrothers. People have been great about being able to be accommodatable and bring in their own pizza or food or whatever it is from wherever around the area, and that's been great. But now kind of taking that guesswork out of it and allowing people the option to come here, be able to have a drink, and be able to have dinner or lunch with their friends and family is going to be something that everybody's going to benefit from here.
Do you find that when people come in here for beer, most of the time if they bring in food, it is pizza? Or like what's the most thing that people bring in?
Yeah, it's definitely big pizza and wings. That's kind of the staple of this area, I would say, if not most of Buffalo. So we're surrounded by several good pizzerias that have been here for a long time already, and that's the go-to for people when they're coming in with a small group.
That's awesome. And obviously, going to get pizzas, the first thing that you want is beer. Yeah. So there's no other alternative to that. You're not going to drink vodka with it. Like, that's weird. So are you guys going to do any sort of like paired releases or something like that? Has that thought of like trying to brew a beer for your customers? Or I guess what is the relationship between the two going to be like?
Yeah, we've talked with Matt about some collaborative ideas down the road. Right now I think the main focus is we want to get Matt established in this building with the sort of service flow that we have during our retail hours, for when the tap room's open. So I think for the time being, definitely we're going to let Matt focus on what he does best, making pizzas. We're going to focus on what we're doing with making beers. And then, yes, of course, we'd like to collaborate at some point, and definitely in the very near future, we likely see something of that manner.
Did you always, when you first started and you kind of got out of the house making pizzas, did you want to go into a brewery? Or I guess, what was your thought process when you started of like, this is where I see the business going in the future?
So on Instagram, which is basically the reason I'm here, it changed my life. There's a whole community of us all around the country that do this. And I saw a lot of guys going to breweries and in California mainly. They were going to breweries, they were doing pop-ups, they were crushing it. So I focused, more on maybe we'll get into a brewery and collaborate with them. That way, they have the bar side of things, we have the food side of things. And it's just like, it's basically cheaper for the rent and everything, because they don't have to have a kitchen.
Yep.
And I don't have to have a bar with, all the different licenses and everything. So in this climate with how the restaurant business and everything's going, you need low overhead. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
And both places now that I've been, we've gotten the low overhead that I've seeked. So that helps the decision in going into a brewery. Plus, they already have customers coming in for beer. Right. They already have a following. I have a following, so it's like a collaborative effort where it can't really lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So the business model, though, if I remember based off of discussion with you guys, it's more of a walk-up pizzeria, right? Like there's no seats inside. So was that also kind of the thought process of, let's get into a space like this where there is a lot of seating, a lot of beer. You come, you pick your pizza up, and then you go hang out here or hang out, I guess, take it home too. Was that always the thought too?
Yeah, that was always the thought, because if you have a full service restaurant, you got to hire more people. And then back to the low overhead thing, you know, on the bad days, you're losing a lot if you're sending people home, and I don't want to have to do that. Whereas this, we only have 3 employees working, and you know, I can send 2 guys home. It's fine. And myself, I don't care if I get paid. Like, that's why I chose to do this. It's like, it's more of a dream. I'm not even doing it for the money, and my wife's super supportive of it, thank God. But like, that's the big thing is you know, just keeping the dream alive.
Sure.
You know, really.
Now, like, my question is, like, when did you realize that this was kind of like more of a hobby for you? Like, what kind of took it to that next step? Because, you know Dylan and I know Derek and some of the Buffalo Happy Hour crew knows who, you know, our story is. But, like, what kind of made you take that next step and believe in yourself to, you know, just make it more than just something fun to do in your garage?
Well, it started snowballing, and we got more and more orders. And the big thing was Buffalo Eats shared us. They came to my house. I didn't even know it was them. And then they made a post about it, and next thing I know, I had like 200 DMs, and I didn't even realize they were there because I didn't catch them for like a couple weeks. But you know, and somebody had messaged me like, "Hey, we're trying to get pizza." I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, so all these people started coming to my house for the pizza, and we would, after I get home from work, I would do like 3 orders every day and just chip away at the list. So at that point, I realized, you know, we have something here, and we need to pursue it further. So I quit my job, and then I was like, if I don't find a place in 3 weeks, I'm just gonna go back to work. I'm like, it wasn't meant to be, whatever. So after the first week of looking, I'm like, oh my God, everything's so expensive, and you don't get anything for your money, and you have to build out the whole place. So that's another good reason we went to the brewery, because we had that, you know, shared space, and everything was already set up. It was quick and easy, and you know, we went from there, and like I said, just snowballed and just kept growing, and you know, now I hit 12,000 followers last night, so like that's
awesome.
It's a big thing, you know, and I never thought it would get to that point. I never really cared, really, and now it's like, wow, there's a lot of people, you know. When I post something, people pay attention to it, and so how can you let that go?
Yeah. What was the dream before Buffalo Eats came in and kind of rocked your life?
The dream, I was just going to stay as a carpenter. You know, I have 2 kids, I have a wife, and we were just going to, you know, keep living the American dream. But, you know, my wife, she told me, she's like, and I sat down with her, I was like, listen, you know, this is going to be hard on us, you know, with financially and all that, and I'm not going to be home as much. And she's like, you know, do what makes you happy, because this is your only chance for it, you know. So she's a big part of it too, and it's all the support I have surrounding me, including these guys and the building owners here. Everybody here is really great, and it's like surreal to me. I was just waiting for something to like go wrong through this process of like the build out and, you know, dealing with it all, but everybody was super supportive and never had any problems, and if we did have problems, they took care of it right away.
That's a kind of similar origin story to you guys a little bit, with just the passion came to be, everybody wanted it, and it's like, well, why not at this point?
Right.
Yeah. You know, it's almost to the T, you know, of a similar story. It was Joel and I working out of our apartment, people reaching out to us, wanting to try the product that we made, grew a following organically, and then so it kind of snowballed, like Matt said, with his business. And so it is funny how like our stories are, and even Matt saying his support system at home. Any time you start a venture or a business or something that you are passionate for, you need that support system behind you. Joel and I can say firsthand that our significant others, his wife, my fiance, they are a big reason why BriarBrothers is what it is, because we know that the amount of time and energy that we put into this place, that when we come home or whatever it may be, that we know that those Those people are there in your corner and backing you up, and that is the biggest thing, because once you have that reassurance that what you're doing is the right thing, no matter how stressful, no matter how exhausting, how much time consuming it is, that is number one, is having that support. And they are, huge reasons why we're able to do what we do and do it to the quality and to the level of enjoyment that we're still doing it at.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And then you start networking with people, you find spots that fit better, you find businesses that jive well with what you're doing, and then you just grow from there. Like, it's cool watching. Obviously, I've known you guys for a very long time, and just watching the evolution of BriarBrothers go, and remember working here a couple times and having the pizza oven in the back, and like people coming up for $1 slice, and it's like, okay, cool, like this is good pizza, but having a pizza place now right there is just a huge benefit.
Yeah, absolutely. Joel and I would frequent Matt's previous spot where he was slinging pizzas, and it was so good. And I remember there'd be days that it would be, the dead of winter, and we'd go in and there wasn't a seat inside, and we would sit outside with this pizza because it was just that good to wait for it and to eat it in those elements. And it's one of those things where you have to eat it. Personally, you have to eat it right there, because that's when it's the freshest, the hottest. That's when you get all the flavors. Everything is perfect within that first, few minutes of receiving the pizza and biting into it. And we kept saying, and once we heard the opportunity, when Matt was leaving his previous spot, we're like, we got to reach out to him. We got to at least give it a try. We don't know what he has in store, what he sees for Buffalo Deep Dish, but we got to at least try to reach out to him to see if we can work something. And we didn't even have the answers for what would happen here. Like, we just jumped on it, and we said, we'll figure out as we go. We'll figure out as we go. And somehow, miraculously, a year later, after our first initial meeting, it went. We somehow it got figured out with many people involved and many supportive people. Like Matt said, the building owners here at Silos at Elk Street. With them coordinating with the contractors and our thoughts and our sort of goals on what we wanted to achieve within the space that we're able to utilize, on the property here. They went above and beyond everything, and that just goes to show that for a business to be successful, whether that's a small business, a giant corporation, there has to be a collaborative team effort, and everybody has to be working towards the same goal. And we've never felt anything short of that from the ownership of Silos at Elk Street.
Were there plans when you left the other place that they reaching out to you made you think about options, or I guess when you were leaving that other spot, what was going through your head?
Well, I felt like it was just like too much work at the other spot. There was just certain things that were going on that didn't really work. And I just told my wife, I'm like, we can't do this anymore. I need like a home base more so. Bigger kitchen, more private kitchen, just something that'll work for us better.
Got it. When your pizza has such a good following and all that, what makes it different than others? Is it, don't give away secrets or anything like that, but is it the dough that you do differently? Is it the sauce? Is it the pepperoni? Is it the style? I guess what separates you from everyone else?
I've always tried to search for the best ingredients, like locally made and like what people are used to. Mm-hmm. So my whole thing is I make these different styles of pizza, but I'm using Buffalo ingredients. People are familiar with the flavors of them. I'm just changing how they look and changing, their texture. And we're making all our own dough, and everything's it's almost like a craft pizza, craft beer. We're making everything. I'm there watching the dough, making sure everything's rising and doing this and that perfectly. I'm really weird about it, and I'll throw out things just to not, I won't serve them if they there was times at the other place where I would just throw everything out because I'm like, we're not serving these today because they weren't good enough. And
that's heartbreaking. You've talked about that a lot, of dumping beer.
Yeah, absolutely.
It makes your heart sink, but you're not going to put that out there.
Yeah, and not to cut off Matt, but last week he was testing out his ovens in the space, and I just pop my head in there, and I just see this shelf full of dough, cooked dough, bread, and I was like, oh, what's up with these? He goes, oh, they're no good. And I'm looking, I was like, what do you mean they're no good? And I grab one, I rip it off, I take a bite, I'm like, this is delicious. And he goes, well, no, see, and then Matt has his ways of seeing what is quality and not quality. Yeah. And again, somebody of my level of knowledge of dough and pizza would be like, this is perfectly fine. It tastes delicious. And he's like, no, it's not good enough. It's not right. It doesn't have the right layers of blah, blah, blah. And it's the same. It's like with any craft. Yeah. It's an art. And if you're going to be, if you're going to be selling your product, your art to the general public, you want it to be the best that it can be, and and there's no fault with that. And it breaks your heart to throw something away that doesn't hit the standard that you expect it to be at. But that's what makes you the artist. That's what makes you the craft. That's what makes it worth coming here to have that product over the next one. And that's just how it is.
That is a funny concept, because when you hear of breweries dumping beer or like throwing out dough, you're like, oh, it must have been toxic. It must have been absolutely terrible. But like, you could have sold that beer. You could have sold that pizza, but it just does not fit the vibe of the place. Does it make you think like, maybe I don't dump the next batch?
I don't know.
No, I'd still dump it. Yeah.
You've got a name to represent.
Yeah.
If you set an expectation of your quality and what you are putting out there, and it's missing on that, it's not something you want to stand by. And I think that's pretty accurate for everybody here at this table.
And it's not like, when knock on wood, we haven't had to do it too many times, but it's not like when we're dumping something or, a product doesn't hit our standard that we're like broadcasting that to the public saying, look at what we're doing. We're dumping this because we care about our, our consumers. Like, that's not why we do it. Like, we're not trying to get any sort of like applaud for it.
Sure.
It's this behind the scenes personal mental breakdown that I have that Joel only sees likely. And we just do it. And again, nobody knows about it. And it might be a pride thing. It might just be it's just one of those things you forget about it and you move on. And, you don't forget about it in terms of learning from it and progressing from it. It's just, again, we're not going to tell everybody that we're doing it because we say, oh, you, our customers, deserve better. No, like, we know they deserve better. We know they deserve the best, and we're only going to give them the best. And that was, that came so through when I walked into his spot the other day, and there's just a whole shelf of dough. And it's like, okay, this guy gets it. Like, we have the same mentality when it comes to our product. And that's like, when you come into Briar and you order food from Buffalo Deep Dish and you have a beer from Briar, or that person is getting the best quality and the best representation of each of those independent brands all in one.
Sure.
And that's what you're getting. It's just the best that we know is the best of what we can give you.
Matt, do you think like you credit that to like your contractor background, like being like hyper focused and like hyper aware of like, perfection, or have you been like that, I guess, your entire life?
No, I haven't been like that my entire life at all. Like,
His wife is screaming at the camera.
honestly, it's like I do think it's part of being a carpenter, and I was a carpenter for 17 years in the union, and we were held to a higher standard with our work and all that. Everything, if it doesn't look good, you're not going to leave it. So the same thing with the pizzas. I try to make them aesthetically pleasing and basically look like art, and I like when they're very symmetrical and the designs and everything on it. So that's the big thing for me is making everything look good and then taste good, and then everybody's happy. I'm happy because I'm serving a good product, and that's the biggest thing with this whole thing is we want to feel good about what we're serving. And if there's things that are wrong with it and we know about it, it's like it eats away at you, and you're like I don't even want to serve this. But everybody's like, oh, it's fine. Oh, this is great. It's like, to me, no, it's not right. And we could be better, and I'm always focused on being better.
Sure.
And figuring out like when I was off for this year, I've been working on the dough. I've been still working on the sauce. Like, I'm trying to figure out a sauce that we can use on both of our Detroit and our deep dish. So, but one works with the other differently, because the dough is different and the flavor profile is all just different. So I'm trying to figure out how can we do this the best, but we still have to do it fast, because people, they don't want to be waiting forever for a pizza.
Right.
So I'm coming up with more processes, and this is all just part of being a business owner, is figuring out the process and do I need more people? Do I need this guy here, that guy here? What sauce do I need? This flour is not working. This yeast isn't working as good. So we are constantly tweaking everything.
Yeah, being comfortable with being uncomfortable at times is like the name of the game. It feels like.
And adapting, much like carpentry. You have I always tell my wife this. We have a skill set. Same with cooking, carpentry, whatever. You have that skill set, and you can adapt to anything that comes at you. That's different. And because you have that tool bag, basically on, and you know how to adapt and fix things as they come at you.
So what did you need to do in the space to make it fit what you need it to?
We had to do a lot. So it was an old grain elevator, and it was in rough shape.
Yep.
So like this is where the belts would come through and would take the grain all the way up to the building. Our spot in the building is the highest in the building too. So like there was water leaking, and then there was holes in the floor, and it was a pretty good renovation. And then we had to deal with the city, obviously, and dealing with the permits, and it was just like never ending. It's still not over, but I mean we're right there at the end now, and getting our last little pieces of little taste of opening a business in the city of Buffalo and doing a build out in the city of Buffalo, especially on a building that's like 120 years old.
Yeah, right.
Which is this is like one of the oldest buildings I've ever worked on. I've worked on a lot of old stuff in Buffalo, but this was different. The concrete's very hard here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Now, when you guys had this connection to build, and obviously you're in the area, what was the conversation with ownership like? Were they hesitant in building in that area? And also, I guess we'll cover that question later, but like, were they hesitant in building in that area?
The owners here have been super ambitious about utilizing all space that is within the silos here at Elk Street. So I think that they were excited and were also looking forward to a challenge when it came to being able to renovate that grain cellar, or that into a usable, workable pizzeria. And I think it's just another fun little feather on their cap that they were able to do it. But as Matt alluded to earlier, and what we've alluded to in previous conversations, is no problem that we've brought up to these folks here at Silos at Elk Street has been a no. They've always found a way to say yes. They've always found a way to make it happen without jeopardizing what we want from that space. And I think again, Matt was talking about that earlier, and that's been consistent since we started opening up our venture.
Now it's behind the stage, right? Kind of?
It is not.
Okay.
So it's not directly behind the stage, but it does share, I guess, in terms of capacity, the silos itself.
Okay.
So a lot of people, like, some of the misunderstanding is when you walk into the BriarBrothers tap room, or when you're, through the hallway of where the tap room is connected, that you're not in the silos. You're actually in the workhouse of the property. The silos are a separate entity, or a separate sort of structure in the building that has not been utilized in terms of occupancy until Matt came in. So Matt is actually, to my understanding, the first tenant in the silos itself. Everybody else is located in the workhouse. That's us, the barbershop, the tenants upstairs. That's all workhouse related square footage. Matt is the first tenant in the silos itself. So he's not directly behind the stage. He shares the space of that area, though, a little bit more to the left than down the hallway when you're heading towards the bathrooms. You'll see his order, garage door, order here window, and you just got to follow the scent of delicious pizza, too.
Hell yeah. So the music isn't going to shake dough off the shelves or anything like that? Okay, that's good.
No, we shouldn't be able to really even hear them.
All of our hard rock shows that we have here consistently. Yeah. Yes. So I guess, like, what was like I know you kind of talked about some of the challenges already, but like, what's been the most rewarding kind of feeling to you, like, going through this process of, again, leaving one space, figuring out if it was worth, continuing on, and then ultimately, being on the cusp of your brand new space opening up?
The most rewarding part is just like the strangers that have become like my friends and all the regulars. Like I never knew any of these people, and at the last place we were at, they would all come in, and then they would keep coming in, and I got to know them all. And we're having a soft opening this week, and it's all these people. I don't even know these people really, and but I do because of the pizza and everything. But I would have never known them otherwise, and that's the biggest shock to me, is like how like supportive the community of Buffalo here is when it comes to oh, this is a new business, we're gonna go support them, and then they keep supporting,
Right.
Where I know a lot of people will just come one time. I even do it myself. I'll go one time to somewhere and be like, this is really good, and then just never go back.
Right.
They keep coming back, and I've developed this relationship with them because at the last place, we were cooking, we were serving, we were bussing tables, we were doing everything. So, and I would go out there, and I would out in the dining room, and I would talk to everybody and how is everything, you know, what can we do better? And a lot of them were like, this is great. I'm like, oh, you're good.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about it. But, you know, that's the biggest shock with all of this is the people.
Yeah.
You know, who make
Do you
it.
guys struggle getting feedback too on your beers, or do people openly tell you? 'Cause I feel like a lot of people try to be nice and be like, no, it's great. It's like, no, really, tell me what you want me to improve, because there's stuff that I can work on, but if you don't tell me, I'm not going to know.
Yeah, you know, I think there's a mixture, right? Like, you know, sometimes you'll get unsolicited advice on something, right? And you know, you never take it the wrong way, right? Whether that's you know, advice to help, you know, when people are telling you those things, it's because they care enough about it, right? And they want you to kind of have that knowledge or whatever it is. So yes, like we do get feedback on some of our products, and that's either, you know, I ask about it, and you know, I'll ask, you know, Joel's usually the first person to try a beer before it goes on draft, right? And I'm usually handing it to him. I stand over him like this, and I'm like, "What do you think?" And you know, usually it's a very you know, productive feedback. I guess you'd say.
I've
Joel
evolved.
has, yeah,
I've evolved
yeah.
in my
Joel,
feedback.
Joel has gone from, oh, it tastes like.
I used to tell you it would either smell or taste like, you know, a McDonald's wrapper.
Yes.
Or,
Yeah.
you know, a pair of socks that were kind of laying around.
Right.
Those are back in homebrew days.
Right.
But,
yes.
yeah.
Yes. So yeah, now Joel has learned to sort of give a little bit more productive feedback
I've grown.
on notes. Yeah.
I've grown.
Yeah.
I've been growing.
But yeah, it's I guess to kind of wrap up that question. Yes, we always look for feedback. Whether that's I'm asking somebody or they're just giving it to me, I take it the same way. And those aren't things that we kind of just dismiss. Like, you know, if I'm brewing that beer again down the line and it's like, oh, okay, I got feedback that they're looking for this character out of this product more than this, then yeah, we'll take that in consideration, and then of course try to execute it in a manner that isn't too abrupt and too you know, abrasive to the integrity or the original recipe, but develop it. You know, always.
And I think that's a lot of the way that, you know, Matt, Dylan, and myself kind of approach it, right? Like Matt was talking about, going out there, talking to the customers, actually making them feel comfortable and, you know, open to being able to talk to you. And not only just talk to you to, you know, stroke your ego, but to also feel confident that you do want to hear feedback. Yeah. And I think that's something, you know, that a lot of very successful small businesses do well, such as, again, that customer interaction with the people making and serving the product that you're having. And I think that's what makes the feedback channel and avenue a lot, I guess, larger for us than, you know, maybe those people just kind of saying that, oh, this tastes good, you're fine, this is a good beer.
Yep.
Same with beer, though. With pizzas, you kind of have to know what you're tasting, or you have to know what you're buying, because if you're tasting something different and it's not the intention of that beer, like if you're drinking a Pilsner and you're like, I don't taste any hops, like, well, obviously
Sure.
you're not going to.
Yeah.
But like with your pizza, I guess going into it and ordering a deep dish pizza and being like, it's not brick oven, it's like, well, yeah, obviously. Like, so from that standpoint, what do you offer so people know when they come here, like, this is what I can expect from this place?
So we have the Detroit style and then the Chicago deep dish. So the Detroit style, I kind of like, we make like fun ones, you know, and they have names and just like, you know, ones that, it was good opening at the last place too, because it was almost like research and development, because I can see, oh, well, this pizza sells, this pizza doesn't. You know, we've done pizzas where they don't sell at all, and I'm like, man, I can't believe that one didn't sell, because like, I love it, you know, but it's not about me.
Right.
Like Joe Dirt, it's not about you as a consumer. And then the deep dish pizzas are more of just like, they're just like the basic, there's really not like any names. We have like cheese and sausage, cheese pepperoni, and like a supreme one. But we have add-ons too for our pizza, so you can customize everything. And we were doing a tavern style at the last place, but we're not going to be doing it here in the beginning until I see like what's going to happen. Because if I get locked into making 3 different doughs again, I might like I might lose my mind, because it was a lot to handle. And then we do the gluten-free dough, so I was actually doing 4 doughs.
Wow.
And the gluten-free is for the Detroit only. But you know, we have that, you know, we have that range of different pizzas. 2 of the Detroits are white pizzas. So we have the white option, because like my daughter, for example, she doesn't like red sauce. You know, she'll eat it, but she doesn't prefer it. She wants the white sauce. So she really enjoys the garlic mushroom onion one, which is like, it's a garlic cream sauce, which we've started making now, and because the last place I used something kind of like that was a little bit cheaper, and here's the craft part of it. Is I don't like that. I don't want to serve that. Like I want the cream sauce, and we're making that ourselves. With the vodka sauce now, we're making that ourselves. Where the last place I used to use it from a jar, and it just wasn't good enough for me. So, giving people that option and putting everything we have into those options is, I think, going to make it really shine. Just because I've tried pizzas at a lot of different places. A white sauce, they'll just use like a canned Alfredo sauce or something like that. And we added that Bianco one. I know you're looking at the menu. So that one's more of tomatoes and onions on it with the white cream sauce, and you can put add-ons on it. But a lot of people are asking for that. Like, do you just have like a white pizza, like with onions and tomatoes? Because you go into a lot of the pizzerias around here, and what do you see in the the warmer? Is they have those. They have cheese and pepperoni and maybe one other one, but they usually always have that white pizza. Because it's simple to make, easy to make. A lot of them make it with olive oil, but we took it to the next level, and we're making our own cream sauces.
Nice.
That's sweet.
What's your go-to? So what's your favorite one that if you were going to sit down and make yourself a pizza, which one are you making?
I really enjoy the Chicago deep dish.
Yeah.
Cheese, pepperoni, sausage. It's just always something that I love, and something that nobody really does around here. I mean, there's a few places that do it, but in my opinion, they're not doing it to the best of their potential.
Okay.
And it could use a little more love.
Now, for layman's that may not understand the difference between a Chicago and a Detroit, like what are those differences for, again, those out there?
Okay, so the Chicago deep dish that I do is a stuffed pizza. So there's the dough's on the bottom, and it's a cornmeal crust, and it's a little bit lower hydration, so it gets a little bit more crispy, and there's a lot of cheese in there. There's toppings inside. So what we do is we put all the easier toppings, to, not fresh ingredients, like the pickled ingredients and all that. We put those inside the deep dish, and then we'll put the fresh vegetables. That's another thing, we use a lot of fresh vegetables and stuff. Fresh mushrooms, everything. Nothing's canned, except for the sauce. But we'll cook the fresh ingredients on top, and but I love the Chicago deep dish. Like, if I were to sit down and have some pizza of my own, I would probably have that, And then, so the Detroit style is it's a focaccia crust. So we par bake ours, and that's the hardest pizza that we make, the most difficult one, because everything's got to be right. The stars have to align. You have to have the good temperatures. Good time management with everything. You got to know, because you don't want to under or overproof the dough. And then why we par bake is we lock it in. That's what I say, is we lock it in at that good point, and then we can use them all day from there. So we're making our own fresh bread every morning.
Nice.
And then we're serving that, and I don't really use it the next day. You can freeze it and use it the next day, but I don't really like to. I'll just do another batch the next day. And that's why we sell out, is because we make fresh every day.
Sure.
And I've tried not doing it, and I don't like it. It goes back to the pride thing, where you're not happy with it, and you don't want to serve it. But back to the deep dish. So there's cheese in there, and then we put a lid on it, and then a dough lid, and then we lock it all in, and we put the sauce on top.
Got it.
And the Detroit, like I said, is a focaccia crust, and then we have a cheese edge around it, a caramelized cheese edge around it, and it creates this high frico, it's called. Frico is Italian for fried cheese. So it's this high fence around the pizza, and it really catches people's attention. And I remember seeing a guy in Peterborough, Ontario, called the PTBO Pizza Guy, and he was doing them, and I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. How are you doing this? So just to find the cheese that would make that high frico edge, it took me forever. I'm talking, I tried 30 different cheeses.
It's a specific type of cheese that'll do that?
Yes. It's it's a whole milk cheese that'll do that. That's all I'm gonna give you on that.
Yeah. Don't give away your trade secrets at all.
Yeah, but they once I found that and I cooked it the first time, and then it happened, and I popped it out of it, I'm like, oh my god, like this is crazy. Like, and I started taking pictures on Instagram, and that's what made people want to start getting the
something
pizza
different, yeah.
from my house, because they're like, oh man, they saw what I saw. You know? Like, this is cool looking.
Does it serve how many people? Is this like a personal? Is this 2 people, 3 people?
So
Obviously for us, 1 person.
the Detroit style is an 8x10.
Oh, I'd crush that for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll take you up on that, because like people say that, they're like, that's it.
Yeah.
And then you know, it can feed 2 people.
I'm sure.
I've seen it feed 3 people too, because everybody has 2 slices and they're good. There's just no leftovers, but everybody wants leftovers in Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
Because we want to go home and have it later, heat it up. And that's another good thing is about the Detroit style. It reheats really well. In the microwave, or in your oven, or wherever you want to do with it, it reheats really well, and that's another like awesome part about this.
But generally 2 people you would suggest for any of these pizzas?
The Chicago deep dish can feed 4 people.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Up to 4 people, and I actually just made them a little bigger because I was watching Pizza Review Joe's review, and he opened the box, and I'm like, that looks kind of small in the box, and so
Size king.
So I got 1-inch bigger pans.
That's pretty big.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
that's a lot.
So it's a 1/2 inch bigger on each side, but now it fills out the whole box, and it like looks better. It's back to the aesthetically pleasing, and now I feel better serving them, because I'm like, okay, we had to charge $1 more for each one, and I tried not to, but I'm like, well, we're gonna have to use more ingredients, so we have to. But now I feel like that thing can feed 4 people easily all day.
What I like too about the menu is that you have pizza add-ons, and I feel like for at least a lot of the pizzerias in the area that aren't your typical Buffalo style pizza, that you can obviously add whatever you want when you call to order takeout, but a lot of the other businesses that do flatbreads or brick ovens or something like that, they don't have an add-on section. And I like that you do that, because I love hot honey, and I want that on absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And that's cool that you can add that on only for $1. I really like that idea.
Yeah, so the last menu I had, everything was $2, and I was like, that's kind of like, we have to like split everything up. And it was just easier for us to do, because it was like $2, any add-on,
Yeah.
And it makes money, but I'm like, well, how can we get people to customize these people more? So I lowered some of the prices of the add-ons to make them more fair, and just like, that's a big thing, is the add-ons. People want that.
Yeah.
They want to customize their pizza, and in the kitchen, it kind of like screws us up a little bit when people add like too much stuff on there, because like with the Detroits, we can only add so much.
Right. It's going to be 40 pounds when you walk out.
Yeah, before, like, I mean, the pizza's only 8x10, so when you're adding all these things on, like I would always tell our cashier, Vinny, I would be like, if they order more than like 3 things, I go, just don't charge them for anything more, because like we can only put so much on there, and I don't want to feel like they're getting ripped off and all that. I'm not all about the money. The money is just to keep us surviving and keep my employees paid.
Sure.
Where I don't make much doing this, and I made a lot more being a carpenter, but this is like a dream.
Now, these add-ons, can they go inside? Because you said it's the cooked ingredients, or not fresh ingredients, go inside the pizza. Can you add on stuff to be like, throw this in there?
Yeah,
Okay,
you can
cool.
do whatever. Like the only thing I wouldn't like put on top, inside of a deep dish is like the raw onions and the raw what is that, green peppers, and then mushrooms too. But I pre-cook my mushrooms. And then I drain all the liquid out of them, and then so we can stuff those in there.
Okay.
But really, it's just the green peppers and onions. Like I prefer to cook those on top. So if you're going to get a supreme, for example, you'd have the olives in there, mushrooms in there, cheese, pepperoni, sausage, and then the peppers and onions would go on top of it.
Okay.
So that would be the supreme. It's just something that we've learned to adapt to.
Sure.
And like something that I'm like, I don't really like let's stuff that inside, and now my employees know about that. And we have a system, and we make things the same every time.
Sure.
And it's fun figuring out like how to do things quicker. Like we used to just make the whole deep dish we used to have to sit there, roll out the dough and everything. Now I found a way where I can kind of pre-make it, and then we can fill it later and keep it in the fridge. I'm like, oh, well, this still works, you know.
Yeah.
So just little things to help us be quicker.
Sure.
That's the fun part for me. It's like, all right, you know, we can get more orders out. People are going to be happier.
Yeah.
You know, but it's tough when everybody all comes at once.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
That's true.
Now, what do you think it is about, like, I guess, the Buffalo food scene that makes people really excited about these deep dishes and Detroit-style pizzas? Like, what do you think it is with, you know, Buffalo has been known to have just great pizza, you know, for a very long time. But what is it that you think is causing, like, this big, you know, fad and, you know, excitement about what you're now doing?
Well, the biggest thing was like Jay from Jay's Artisan Pizzeria Florian. He I feel like he was like one that started it, doing it, and now like we kind of all like have fed off of that. And people have even told me, they're like, well, we're just sick of Buffalo pizza. Like everywhere you go, it's the same thing. You know, it's the high gluten flour dough, and then there's, you know, Galbani cheese, probably full red sauce. And they're all using similar ingredients, and it's all a similar product. And now a lot of the places just use frozen dough because Al Cohen's makes it all, you know, and it's just cheaper for them because they don't have to hire a guy. And I would love to get into that eventually, but I can't, you know, I have to have like my eye on everything. And
Yeah.
I have to mix the dough myself, and we don't do that much where we need volume like that. Some of these places are doing 300 pizzas a day,
Right.
and you know, they're just cranking them out all day long.
So it's like the excitement of something new is what you think this is all about.
Well, we're using good ingredients
Right.
too, and like all of our flour and everything is high quality,
Sure.
and never bleached or bromated. You know, like those are big things right now,
Sure.
because there's a lot of digestive issues with people, and I feel like the high gluten flour that everybody's used to here and all the Buffalo pizza, I feel like that like kind of screws you out.
Oh, yeah.
Been there.
Yeah.
But you just keep eating it because you're like, I love this.
It's so
stuff.
good. Yeah, it's so good. Like I love Buffalo pizza.
Yeah.
Like, I had some last night, and it's just like it's my favorite. You
Yeah.
know, it really is my favorite. But it's like, how much can we have of it? And then you know, you get a bad one. Like you know, you go to your same spot all the time, and then you get a bad one, or
Yeah.
for a couple weeks, and then you're like, I don't know if I want to go there anymore. And you know, this like creates like a more fresh, you know, approach to it all, and you know, everything's baked fresh every day, and
Right.
you know, we throw things out if they're not good enough.
Yeah, it's not just a tagline anymore of fresh every day, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's great.
Where a lot of the pizzerias will be like, oh, we have extra dough, just put it in the cooler for tomorrow. You know, or we can't do that, you know, because there's no preservatives or anything, so everything just goes bad really quickly.
Yeah,
sure.
If you don't have it, you know, in a good environment, you know.
Guess what do you think makes I guess how do you see your following and your crew meshing with, like, I guess the vibe and the culture over here at Briar?
I don't think it's going to be much different than what we were at the place we were before, because it's the same customer base, really.
Right.
And that's why I chose to be, you know, it was good to be close
Sure.
to where we were before.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these people live around here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these people frequent this bar already. So it's like we're just adding something that they already know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, into a new place for us. And it's much more roomy in here, and there's more seats and everything for the customers.
Sure.
Just a more comfortable place to be, really.
Yeah, and you know, I guess just to kind of feed off of that too, and with you know, with more space, and for any of the BriarBrothers regulars who have not been to Buffalo Deep Dish, we are going to be expanding our tap room seating. So the room next door, the Kreiner room, we will be utilizing that room during our service hours. So we do understand that sometimes pizza may be more of a slower consumed food, right? Between waiting for it, it's a gathering food, right? So Joel and I sat down, and you know, we kind of talked about it on, you know, how do we make sure that when, especially when Briar customers who have been coming for the last 3.5 years, when they come into our tap room, that they're going to still feel comfortable here, be able to find somewhere to sit, be able to enjoy their, their beers and now their pizzas. And so we did expand our seating capacity by about 50%.
Yeah, it's about 50 or 60 extra seats over there.
Yep. So, that's definitely going to help with, people being able to come in here, sit comfortably, enjoy whether it's their food, or their beers. So that was a big focus that we wanted to sort of emphasize, is that anybody who has not had Buffalo Deep Dish, who has been coming to Briar for the last 3.5 years, we want people to know that there's still going to be a comfortable space to come into. And, you're not going to be fighting for bar seats, you're not going to be fighting for tables. We did acknowledge that was going to be something that had to be addressed, and we wanted to be proactive about it.
Which I think works well for you guys, because you, regardless if Buffalo Deep Dish came here, you probably could have used that space anyway.
Sure.
Like it's not dependent on somebody else being here. So that's always the great thing. And now that you have someone here, this place is just going to fill up like crazy.
Absolutely.
So it's a very good idea.
Yeah. And we still have the patio during the warmer months too, which always helps. And, it's probably the seat of choice during the, those Buffalo summers. So that'll still be out there with the live music that we do. Nothing really changes from the Briar sort of operation. We still do the cornhole leagues. We still do the golf leagues. We still have the live music on the weekends in the summer. We still do Formula One on Sundays. So all of that stays the same. This is pretty much Briar with a bonus now. A pretty awesome bonus.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And then also we are still going to be dog friendly. That was always a big question that we got when we announced the partnership with Buffalo Deep Dish. So,
really?
We will remain dog friendly. That we just were able to work it out that way. So again, even with having a constant food option here, you can still bring your four-legged friends.
Was that a concern?
Yes, absolutely. People did mention how they enjoy bringing their animals here because one, it was a comfortable place to be. And I'm not up to date with the health code requirements in terms of food and beverage, but the one thing that I do understand is if you are making food in the same building or in the same space, that you can't have animals inside. But with the Deep Dish being down the hallway, not connected directly to the tap room, that still allows us to remain dog friendly because we're not producing food in these walls.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't know that was even a concern that you would have to have removed that.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we definitely. We get a lot of dog. We have one over here now.
Of course.
But yes, we are we're dog friendly, dog encouraged. We have treats behind the bar for dogs. So again, that was always sort of a big thing for us that we wanted to allow to happen when we first opened, and also to maintain that.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's if you had like one word of how you're feeling leading up to opening week, how would you try and put that into?
I'm excited.
Into a word? Excited.
Yeah. We were supposed to open up last week, and then the weather came, and the news put it all out there that it was going to be really bad. It wasn't that bad, but it was better to play it safe for our customers than sorry. But now we're going to be doing our soft opening Monday, Tuesday, and then we're going to be opening on Thursday the 29th. And starting our journey from there,
What are going to be your regular hours?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 to 8 to begin, just to see, we're not going to do too much right off the bat. But I'm expecting it to be pretty busy, just from the attention that it's getting, which is like surreal to me because, I haven't been posting as much on Instagram and everything, but it has the attention. So that's another thing that reassures me that like this was a good move.
Yeah.
So what is that ordering process going to be like just for the people that are going to be coming in here? So, you walk through the double doors, leading towards the Briar Tap Room. How do they get to you right away? And I guess what's the process of what they can expect when ordering?
Okay, so we're probably going to have a sign once you walk in the door. It says Buffalo Deep Dish this way, BriarBrothers in here. Obviously, they'll be able to see the BriarBrothers right across the hall, but you never know.
Yep.
So you're going to go down to our little pickup window, and we're going to have somebody there that can answer questions for you and cash you out and take your order. And then, he'll relay that to us, and we'll start making the pizza. And right now we have a buzzer system. That's just what we came up with for now. And eventually we're going to have a QR code ordering, but we just have to, I kind of ran out of money, and, I'm like, all right, we're going to make this work. And then we can we could have to have like a kitchen display system with like screens and everything. So it costs money, but we'll just do this for now and see how it works and
grow into it.
The problems will expose themselves right away. And, being like the people we are, I know that we're all gonna work hard to take care of any issue that comes up, and like that's the biggest thing that I'm most confident about is like when there's problems, like we're gonna handle them.
Yeah.
Sure.
And we're not just gonna say that we're gonna handle them and then not do anything about it.
You're going to see it.
You
You're
know?
going to see it.
Yeah, we're going to do it. And, you know, like I said, I don't care about the money. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what. You know, I'm sure the money will come down the road and we'll be happy and everything will be good. But we're going to struggle in the beginning just figuring out, you know, navigating what
Yeah,
The day-to-day looks like. Yep.
So,
I mean, I cannot emphasize this enough. The fact that you're partnered with, or you're in proximity with a brewery that does not offer food, and the fact that your proximity is with a food place that doesn't offer beer,
Right.
There's no better combination. Because
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you how many times I'm in here and I could go for a slice of pizza.
Sure.
Like that's just, it's perfect. So my goal is to have you guys be so busy that you're forced to work 7 days a week and open 7 days a week, because then that'll be perfect.
we might die.
Yeah, right.
All right, perfect. Well,
Anything else that you guys want to bring up? No.
No,
No, I don't
it's
think
just,
so. I'd like to think we kind of hit on everything here. Got
Yeah.
Matt a good intro to, you know, not just the Briar sort of the crowd, but also the happy hour crowd and
course.
everybody else.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm very happy.
Yeah, it's going to be a great next chapter for the silos at Elk Street with Briar and Buffalo Deep Dish, and it's I think, well, I just know that everybody is going to just reap the benefits in terms of a more enjoyable experience while you're here. You're going to still have that same quality customer service interaction with Buffalo Deep Dish and BriarBrothers Brewing Company. It's going to feel the same, but it's just going to smell and taste a whole lot better.
Do you want to just tell everyone your hours too?
Yeah, we are open Wednesday through Sunday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we open up at 4 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, we open up at noon. Saturdays are a long day. We're usually here till 11, and then we fluctuate in terms of like closing at 10 o'clock on Thursday and Friday and things like that. So that's we're planning to keep those hours going strong through now and through the summer, and it's just going to be a really good time to be around.
Do you guys have tentative plans for Wednesday and Sunday where Buffalo Deep Dish isn't open, or is that something that you're still going to encourage people to bring their own food?
Yeah, all that's going to stay the same. I mean, again, even with the Buffalo Deep Dish coming in here, if there's people that do not want a pizza for some reason that day, we still encourage and allow people to bring in your outside food.
Yeah.
So again, everything is going to stay the same. It's now we're just giving an added benefit of having that convenience for when they do want pizza. So yeah,
Perfect.
Cool. And my big goal is to add like a fryer in there of some sort and do like cheese curds and French fries and chicken fingers.
Sure.
I don't know if I want to do the wings because you have the raw meat in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Where like the other stuff can be just frozen. That's like a huge health department thing.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't want anything contaminated
Sure.
because we're making it's a small space. It's 400 square feet.
Sure.
So it's not big and. Like I wanted to put fryers in there, but we kind of just ran out of room.
Sure.
So we're looking into another option right now, and hopefully we can bring the fried food aspect because I know people want that.
Yeah, of course.
I get it,
Yeah.
but it's just tough,
Yeah.
Yeah!
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Highly recommend coming out here, checking the place out. Soft opening, like you said, is coming up Monday, and then the hard launch is going to be Thursday. You said
Thursday the 29th.
Come down, check it out, grab some pizza, grab some beer. You will not be disappointed. This is the new space to be. Cannot wait for summertime.
same. Yeah, it's cold out.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining. Appreciate
you,
it.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you.